Hello everybody, Navy Vet 76 with my GEW 8805. And the 05 is the update to shoot the Spitzer ammo, which includes the S stamp to indicate the update, plus a cutout to clear for the new bullet, and the cutout for the thumb for the stripper clips, and the addition of the plate back here that was added on both sides of the receiver and notched for the stripper clips. This used to take, in the 88 configuration, which is 1888, it would have taken an in-block clip and it would have dropped out the bottom, and they've covered that up with a little piece of sheet metal here. They also added this little piece of metal right here, which holds the cartridges in the magazine. They didn't do anything with the follower. It's the same follower that has always been there. It is a Steyr. It is model 1890. It has a steel jacket on the barrel so you don't burn yourself. It's graduated, I believe these were graduated in steps. Yeah, don't quote me on that. I don't remember. And it also has Turkish markings on it. You can see the little crescent right there. I believe I have it on the bolt handle as well. So this is one of the firearms. Also has Turkish writing there. The GEW 88s were sent to Turkey by Germany and used by the Turks. Excuse me. I have ammo here that has been loaded since, let me look at my sheet here. Where's my paperwork? I don't know where the paperwork went. But it's 178 grain. This one's loaded 7 of 16. So it's been July 1st of 2016. And I'm using H4895, 37 grain, CCI primer, 3 inches, 20 thousandths overall length. I'm using a pulled 8mm bullet. It's a pointed boat tail, full metal jacket, 178 grain weight that I have resized to 318 diameter. The GEW 88s, when they did the update, they either rebarreled them or they reamed the throat so that the bullet would taper down as it went out the end, out the muzzle. Early on, some of these failed because of the pressure of the 8mm Mauser round. Some of the barrels bulged or burst. And so these rifles can be dangerous. I highly recommend you slug the bore on your rifle if you get one before you do any kind of loading on them. I've also heard that for the most part, the ones that are going to failed a long time ago. However, I don't want to put data out there and get somebody injured, so I resized my bullets to 318, and I use a conservative load, and it seems to work for me. So let's get set up. I know I had a card with the load date on it, and I must have dropped it, or it's I don't know what happened to them. It's important to me to keep that stuff. But anyway, that's why I write stuff down. Keep it in here anyway. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. No, I do 5-shot groups, and that little retaining clip in here got a pretty stout spring on it. These bullets have a little bit of wax on them from running through the sizing die, and I never cleaned it off. I don't think it hurts anything. And you know, we're shooting at 50 yards, so and it's 1928 feet per second. (2001) feet per second. (2109) feet per second. The bolt on these is really smooth, and I've got something jammed up in here. The trigger on this is very light. When I got this firearm, it had refinished. I normally don't refinish firearms. I have in the past. This one's got a poly finish on it. They're cool firearms though. When I found this one, I was actually looking for a Steyr M95 long rifle. I was talking to a buddy of mine in Michigan, said, I'm looking for a Steyr long rifle. He says, well, I have one. And then I realized he wasn't talking about the straight pull. He was talking about the GEW 88, which when I started collecting firearms, I'd never heard of before. There were a lot of things I hadn't heard of at that time. And I had just started reloading. So it was all new to me. The surplus market, military surplus rifles, was completely new to me at that time. But this load is very light for this rifle. Recoil is minimal, which is the way I like it with this old gun. 1,809 feet per second. I don't have any idea where I'm shooting. It's been a long time since I shot this, several months anyway. I've seen another guy post out there about his GEW, and he was showing that it could shoot, look like modern 9mm ammo through it. Or excuse me, 8mm Mauser ammo through it. I was a little concerned about what he was putting out there, so I texted him, commented through his YouTube channel, and suggested that there were several different bore sizes of this particular rifle, and that the information in general may be dangerous to put out there. He commented back that he would, he understood that it appeared that, how it appeared, and he was going to change his title on that video. There are people out there that will argue with you and tell you that they don't no longer made a 318, but they were all 322 or 321 and 323. But I've since, I proved that wrong because I have the rifle right here in my hand. And with the 05 update, it's still a 318 diameter, which is what I mean by groove diameter. So that one was 1910. So we got a break coming up. I don't know where they're hitting. We'll go down there and look, see what it looks like. So my point of aim was right here. You can see we're shooting high. And that's the 198 grain bullet, which was the bullet that they used in the Mauser. I do want to mention that this is called the commission rifle because it was commissioned by Germany to contend with the likes of the Lebel, the French Lebel, which was an 8mm cartridge. And this is the first smokeless powder gun that Germany issued to their troops. It is not a Mauser. It has design features of the later Mausers, but this is not a Mauser. Now, I wish I had the original 1888 rifle. It was a completely different bullet. It was a long round nose bullet, and it used an in-block clip, which dropped out the bottom, this is a Mannlicher style rifle. And all the Mannlicher rifles of that period had this magazine and the in-block clip. Now, if I were to aim low, say at the bottom center of this paper, we should be approximately on the bullseye. That one was 2,043 feet per second. That one was 1851. There's a lot of deviation in this load. $18.46. That one didn't want to. Let me pull that down and start over. These get messed up in there. That was an error. I don't know why. That's 1755. I will tell you something about this chronograph here. I've had, I think, 3 of these chronographs, and I've ruined them because when I'm running cast bullets, the gas checks on them would sometimes separate, and it would hit the screen, and even though the chronographs would still work, you couldn't read the speed on the screen. You had to go with the remote. So what I came up with was I think it's a 1/4-inch piece of plexiglass that I sawed and sanded out and kind of tacked it on with super glue. And if a gas check does come loose, it generally doesn't damage the screen. It just knocks the plexiglass off, and I can just replace it. And I don't. When I'm shooting these jacketed bullets, that's obviously not an issue. But the cast bullets, I've on more than one occasion I've hit the chronograph. I have one of my chronographs has a groove from a bullet skimming right across the top of it. But for me, a chronograph is essential, especially when you're shooting antiques. It's not a direct indication of pressure, but it helps to let me know if I'm within what I would consider safe limits. That one there, that case needs resized. That one was 2,053 feet per second. 20,000, that'd be a pretty fast bullet, don't you think? Yeah, rail gun. Okay, I changed my point of aim to the center of the very bottom of the paper. That's a 8 by 11 piece of paper, I think it is. And I'm even right at the bottom in the center of the paper, lining up with the bullseye. I'm guessing on the elevation. I'm trying to use these up. They've been loaded for a while, and I need to just get rid of them and put new reloads in here. I only neck size these. I need to trim them. I need to anneal them and then neck size. Mainly because I've got a smaller bore diameter than neck size for a 318 bullet. I could probably have a special die made. I don't know if they sell a 318 Mauser die. I know like CH4D or even possibly Lee would make me a custom die. I really don't need it, I just neck size it. Very smooth, very smooth. This jacket is hot. Can you imagine how hot that barrel is? It's threaded right here, out on the end of the receiver, right here. And then there's a bushing down there on the end. Everything else inside here is not touching. And it's supposed to keep you from burning your hand, but if you're in a pitched battle, it's still going to get hot. Just the nature of the beast. So I want to say again, if you have a GEW 88, even with the 8805, let me say, it is my personal opinion that you want to load to safe pressures and you want to slug your bore to figure out what groove diameter you actually have. I don't care what anybody else says, and I'm not going to argue with you about it. I want to keep this firearm in shooting condition as long as I own it. I'm merely a custodian of all of my milcert firearms. Someday somebody else is going to have them. And I want to keep them in decent shape. Okay, I can't get that one out of there. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, there's a bullet in there. Good Lord, man. That's what I'm talking about right there. Those are the kind of scenarios where you can blow your face off. Well, I've got one in the chamber, and I tried to run another one in behind it. I thought the chamber was clear, and it wasn't. And that's how accidents happen. So I'm going to have to clear the chamber before I can shoot. So we're going to go down range here and show you where we're at. Right there, I was aiming right here, and it was actually hitting up here. These are from previous rifle I was shooting. So here was my point of aim. This is where they ended up. You know, this rifle's well over 100 years old. That's really good. I mean, the rifle, the bore on that rifle is in excellent condition. And it's just a matter of shooting it and, you know, adjusting for elevation and windage. Fortunately, when I raised the rifle to vertical, the bullet just fell out of the chamber, so it really wasn't stuck in there. Thank the Lord. I didn't have to like try and drive it out. So I'm ready to shoot some more. We're going to get set up here. The one problem with the 8805s is you can't clear your magazine. There's nothing on here. You can just hit a button and this drops open, and you can drop your bullets out the bottom. And to try and clear it, the only way to do it is to run the bolt. And this is one of the drawbacks of the early commission rifle. The later 98s, you could drop the floor plate and the bullets would just drop to the bottom. Alright, I'm going to change my point of aim. $1927. $1969. Oh, the bullet dropped back on that one. That one's not safe to shoot. That one's done for. $1976. That one was 2010. Huh. I don't like that. Let me show you this up close. See how that dropped down in the case? You don't want to fire that. That's junk. That's because the neck probably didn't have enough tension, and the actual recoil of the rifle pushed it back into the case. Beautiful day here today. It's been nice all week. No rain, which we could actually use some rain by now. But, you know, it's not anything I want to complain about. Indiana is a mixed bag when it comes to weather. The farther north you get, that can change. One of the things I've heard said is if you don't like the weather, just wait a half hour. Okay. See, this follower system that can problem with the loading. Oh, it'll get crooked in the magazine. And I just blew the sun shield off the top of my chronograph, and that one was 1928. And I got an error. I'm not surprised. Probably won't read right because I got 10 more of these. You guys got the idea how fast they're running. Well, within safe limits for this old rifle. I've run quite a few rounds through this over the years. I'm not sure how many this holds. There's 5 in there. I always will shoot 5-shot groups. I don't know. Yeah, it only takes 5. $19.10. You can really see the heat mirage coming off the barrel. 1861. 1967. And again with the $18.61. $19.28. Well, there's a lot to be said for German engineering. Especially back in the day. Germans back historically have pretty much led the world in advancements in technology when it comes to weaponry up until World War II. I think the French caught them off guard with the Lebel. And pretty much every European nation had to catch up. Germany caught up and eventually became one of the armorers to the world. A lot of Mauser contracts throughout the world. The commission rifle, I know, was used in World War I. And the Turks used it mainly. I think by World War I, they had updated to the GEW 98, and then the KAR 98. And that's all of my bullets. That was 50 rounds with one failure. The gun is very hot at the moment. Looks like my cleaning rod decided to come out the end. Thought I would bring this up. Holy cow, that's hot. Screw this down. I took it out before the last break thinking I may have to use it to knock that bullet out of the chamber, but it wasn't in there tight at all. It fell out. Thank God. And I didn't have to knock it out of there. I'm going to put this on the bench. Whew, that's hot. And get set up for my next ride. Last round I moved the point of aim to right here, and that brought everything up to right about here. Again, that's a pretty awesome firearm. GEW/05, or should I say GEW 88/05.